What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode. You guys got to check this out. Arizona Department of Education teaches that white babies and toddlers are racist. Guys, this stuff is going to only twist and pervert the youth, and I think that is what these critical race theorists want. That is what these Democrats want, because instead of raising our children to be colorblind, instead of raising our children to not focus on race, they are doing quite the opposite. That is why after black men like Walter Wallace Jr., all right, you guys remember he was fatally shot last year, 2020, his son was asked to get up in front of all of his family members, in front of the whole world, and this is what his son had to say. Now, mind you guys, this is coming from a child, and the words he uses at the end, they are taught to him. He was taught this. This is not something that he just observed by himself. Take a listen to this.
Okay, so we need to always hang out, we need to always go places, and we need to always play around.
That's all right, son. Keep it going. Keep going. Be strong. Hey, baby. Be strong. You can do it.
And you need to always teach me how to be a man.
Alhamdulillah. Praise God. Praise God. That's right. That's right.
And these white racist cops got my own dad.
Wow. These white racist cops got my own dad. That is what he has been taught. That is what he is going to live with for the rest of his life. And these older men, all right, these men over here with their hands on his back, these ladies in the back, they don't understand that what they're doing is they are teaching the next generation to focus on race. If you guys remember the Walter Wallace story, I'm not going to go into it, all right, but Walter Wallace was the guy who was having a manic episode, all right? He was having a manic episode. The cops were trying to tell him to stop, get away, like, don't stop coming towards us, but he kept on coming, and ultimately they shot him. He was a career criminal, so it wasn't a white racist cop, and it's a shame that this child has been taught to say stuff like this. But this is what Arizona Department of Education is going to be teaching. All right, straight from the article. The Department of Education wants its teachers to promote racial equity and diversity through the anti-racist program that promotes the idea that white babies and toddlers are racist. It's insane. All right, and this is from Christopher Rufo. You guys know he's an investigative journalist, and he's been going in and out of places showing the deep hold that critical race theory has on the entire nation. So the Arizona Department of Education has created an equity toolkit claiming that babies show the first signs of racism at 3 months old, and that white children remain strongly biased in favor of whiteness by age 5. Now remember that whole whiteness thing? We gotta break our whiteness, all that crap. Let me see if I can zoom in so you guys can see this. All right, so, let me go back real quick. All right, so here's the pictures zoomed in. So they're not too young to talk about race. And I'll read it for you guys so that you, just in case you can't see, at zero, at birth, babies look equally at faces of all races. At 3 months, babies look more at faces that match the race of their caregivers. Yeah. Children as young as 2 years use race to reason about people's behaviors. Really, at 1 year old, they're taught how to use race to reason about people's behaviors. By 30 months, so 2 years old, most children use race to choose playmates. By age 3, expressions of racial prejudice often speak at ages 4 and 5. And that's why in one of my last videos about the woke church, I talked about how a couple of friends of mine were offended because a white kid saw my friend's black son and another Indian boy, and he said, "Oh wow, two black kids," and they were around 4 or 5, and that was offensive. So by age 4, by 5, my bad. It's kind of lagging. So 4 is over here, expression of total racial prejudice, and then by 5, Black and Latinx children in research settings showed no preference toward their own groups compared to whites. White children at this age remain strongly biased. So, guys, this is just propaganda. This is literally propaganda. I mean, this is brainwashing. This is not true. These people's studies are absolutely garbage. We could go ahead and read them for ourselves and just know that for you to conclude that a 4-year-old expressions of racial prejudice often peak at ages 4 and 5, we don't believe you because you are Democratic propaganda. That is what you are. You are Democratic propaganda. And it's a shame because all it's going to do is lead the next group of kids like this young man right here to believe that cops are racist. That by virtue of skin color and profession, cops are racist. For example, one recommended piece of reading linked in the toolkit is titled How White Parents Can Talk to Their Kids About Race. It says white parents should begin addressing the issues of race and racism early, even before their children can speak. Studies have indicated that infants as young as 3 months old can recognize racial differences. Yeah, they can recognize that somebody is black and white because they understand shades of color at that point. It warns avoiding the topic rather than actively countering it with anti-racist attitudes and actions simply opens the door for children to absorb bias from the world around them. For babies aged, no joke, 0 to 2, this same article stresses that white parents should make sure that their children see them interact close, warm, intimate, trusting, and caring relationships with individuals whose race and ethnicity differs from their own. I mean, that's virtuous, but that's not, if you're not doing that, it's because you're not racist. It's because you probably live in an all-white neighborhood. All right, I mean, it's a good thing. So they're trying to wrap up a good thing with an evil thing. But at the end of the day, to say that all kids need to be taught this anti-racist garbage, it's absolutely indoctrination and propaganda. Additionally, there's the importance of creating a home environment that challenges broader societal messages privileging whiteness, whether it's through board books with character of color, board books with character of color, artwork in the house, or even people invited over. All right, but make sure you don't read Dr. Seuss, because if you read Dr. Seuss, you're going to undermine everything of the anti-racist agenda. This sounds like satire, but it's not a joke. This is what the Arizona Department of Education wants you to teach your babies and children, but only white babies and children. For it is white babies who are the problem, white babies and white toddlers and white parents. So what we have here is the Arizona Department of Education teaching and spreading blatant racism, teaching children that whites are so awful and evil unless there are concerted intervention, their babies and toddlers will grow up racist. So, I mean, this is absolutely garbage, guys. So Arizona wants its teachers teaching second graders that Black Lives Matter, a full-blown domestic terrorist group, is a good and noble thing. Listen up. You have to homeschool. This evil racism is not going anywhere. The fascist woke Nazis are now in power and emboldened and are desperate to poison white children with self-loathing while they poison minority children with the lie that they cannot succeed in the country. So, that's obviously this piece is from Breitbart, and they are going to talk about this issue in a very strong way. But I completely agree with the absurdity of teaching kids as young as 0 to 3 years old about racism. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And what they're really aiming to do is they're aiming to indoctrinate children so that when they get to this age, they are saying, oh, my dad was killed by a racist cop. When they get to this age, Walter Wallace Jr., and he's acting out and he's living a life of crime when he ends up dead, well, that's also the cop's fault. It's also racism's fault that this young man was killed. But I think I'm going to leave that right there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I will see you good people on the next one. Peace.